Ever wondered how websites work? What makes them tick? Well, you're not alone. Websites are a bit like icebergs. What you see on your screen is just the tip of a very complex structure. Beneath the surface, there's a whole world of codes and commands that make everything run smoothly. Now let's dive into the heart of the matter. Every website you visit is made up of two essential parts: the front end and the back end. Think of them as two sides of the same coin. Together, they create the web experience we all know and love. The front end is what you interact with, the graphics, the buttons, the text. The back end, on the other hand, is the hidden machinery that powers everything. It's the engine room where all the data is processed and managed. Well, let's demystify this right now. Get ready to understand the magic behind websites. Imagine walking into a restaurant. What you see, the decor, the menu, the staff, that's the front end of the restaurant. Now let's apply this analogy to the world of websites. The front end of a website is everything you, as a user, see and interact with. It's the sleek design, the clickable buttons, the vibrant images, and the harmonious color schemes. It's the aspect of the website that draws you in, keeps you engaged, and makes your experience smooth and enjoyable. When you land on a website, the first thing that strikes you is the layout. Is it neat and organized? Do the colors blend well together? Is the font legible? All of these are determined by a language called HTML, or Hypertext Markup Language. HTML is the skeleton of the website, providing structure to the content. Next, we have CSS, or cascading style sheets, which can be compared to the paint and decor of our restaurant. It takes the basic structure provided by HTML and makes it visually appealing. It determines the color of your text, the background of your pages, and even the layout of your content. Then there's JavaScript. JavaScript is like the staff in our restaurant, making sure everything runs smoothly. It's responsible for making the website interactive. Whether it's a pop-up ad, a drop-down menu, or a form to fill out, JavaScript brings the website to life, keeping users engaged and making the website more dynamic. But the front end isn't just about making the website look good. It's about usability and user experience. It's about making sure the website is not just aesthetically pleasing, but also intuitive and easy to navigate. It's about ensuring that the users can find what they're looking for without getting frustrated or lost. Remember, a website's front end is like the face of a company. It's the first thing users see, and it's what forms their first impression. So the front end is what makes a website look good and feel good to use. But what about the magic that happens behind the scenes? That's where the back end comes in. Back to our restaurant metaphor. The kitchen where all the cooking happens, that's the back end of the restaurant. Now let's extrapolate this to the digital world. The back end of a website is like the kitchen of our restaurant. It's the place where all the heavy lifting occurs, where the raw data is cooked into something palatable. It's the server where all the data is stored and processed, the powerhouse that ensures the website functions as it should. Imagine a website as a living organism. The front end, which we discussed earlier, is the face of this organism, its appearance and how it interacts with the world. The back end, on the other hand, is the brain and the heart, controlling the functions and keeping the organism alive and thriving. Just like a kitchen relies on chefs and their tools, the back end relies on server-side languages and databases. Languages such as Python, Ruby, and PHP are the chefs of the back end world. They process instructions, manage operations, and ensure everything runs smoothly and efficiently. Then we have the databases, the equivalent of the kitchen shelves and refrigerators. Databases like MySQL and MongoDB store all the necessary ingredients, the data, in a structured and organized manner. They keep everything on hand for the server-side languages to use when needed. The magic happens when the front end and back end work in harmony, like a well-oiled machine. The front end sends a request, like a waiter taking an order to the kitchen. The back end processes this request, cooks up the necessary data, and sends it back to the front end. The front end then displays this data, serving it up to the user in a visually appealing manner. This seamless interaction between the front end and back end is what makes your browsing experience smooth and enjoyable. It's what allows you to order a product online, to post a comment on a social media page, to stream your favorite show. In essence, the back end is the workhorse that powers the website. It's what makes the website do what it's supposed to do. So, now that we know what front-end and back-end are, why should we care? Well, the answer is simple. Understanding the inner workings of websites is crucial for anyone interested in web development. It's like knowing how to fix your own car. It's not necessary, but it certainly gives you an edge. Front-end and back-end development are two sides of the same coin, yet they offer distinctly different career paths. Front-end developers focus on creating the user interface and enhancing user experience. They are the architects of how a website looks and feels, essentially shaping the user's interaction with the website. On the other hand, back-end developers are the engineers who make everything work behind the scenes. They ensure that data flows smoothly from the server to the front end, creating a seamless experience for users. They're the ones ensuring that when you click on a button, the right action takes place. Both of these roles are essential in website development. A beautifully designed website is useless if it doesn't function properly, and a highly functional website won't attract users if it's not visually appealing. If you're keen on problem solving, you might find back-end development more appealing. If you have an eye for design, front-end development could be your path. Now you may be wondering, great, but how do I start learning? The good news is there are plenty of resources available to help you on your journey. Online platforms like Code Academy, Udemy, and FreeCodeCamp offer comprehensive courses on both front-end and back-end development. YouTube tutorials can be a great starting point to understand the basics. Participating in forums like Stack Overflow can also be beneficial, as you can learn from the experiences and challenges faced by other developers. Remember, the journey of learning web development is a marathon, not a sprint. Take your time, try out different things, find what you love, and don't be afraid to ask questions. So, whether you're a budding web developer or just curious, understanding the front end and back end can give you a whole new perspective on how websites work.